So now we're moving out of the pagoda to see the holy tree here. So when Kukai Kobayashi completed his studies, sort of reached enlightenment in about 3 years or so in China, he was waiting ship to go back to Japan. He was sort of told by his gurus he was done and that he would spread Dharma in Japan. So he famously had to wait months for the ship to show up, and then threw his three-pronged dorje into the ocean, saying, you know, wake up, prayer, may I go back to Japan and start teaching Tantra and these precious teachings, Yoga Tantra, to all the people of Japan. And so when he came here to look to found a monastery, this is sort of the original spot that he did, he found his three-pronged dorje that he'd thrown into the ocean, Sea of Japan, stuck into this tree, like magic, showing that this would be the place for him to found the first monastery here, these buildings. And here, everyone, the little three-stemmed pine needles people keep as sort of an analogy to that three-pronged dorje. So here we go. We'll sit down and talk about the Savtantrika, lower Madhyamika school of emptiness and dreams. So it's sort of a deeper version, a more subtle version of teachings in the mind-only school. So Savtantrika, as we said, the sort of autonomous school here, autonomous lower Madhyamika way. You know, in a dream, the ultimate nature of things that manifest is emptiness. They're not real. You know? They do not have a self-nature. For instance, we say in a dream, you know, the monster we had that's scaring us isn't real. The pleasurable food that we're eating isn't real, right? They're just a result of coming together of causes and conditions, but also in a way that cause and conditions in sort of a dream way, not a worldly way, because we know that these objects don't function in a real way. They function in a dream way. If I get shot in a dream by a dream gun, it's where I can still wake up and, you know, realize that it wasn't real. It's not like getting shot by a real gun, so to speak, right? You know, a dream fire can't burn me in the way that a real fire does. Dream food doesn't satisfy my hunger or fill my stomach in the way real food does. You know, so that they're real, they're functioning enough, almost in a virtual way, with real effects in our mind, according to our judgments, in our, you know, our aversion and our attachment. But this is just relative truth. They're not real on any absolute truth level. You know, not in the same way, but, you know, on a sort of a relative level, they function the same way that quote-unquote real waking things do. So the Savtantrika school critiques the mind-only or Yogacara school. In the end, the relative level, things are just existing just on a conceptual level, you know, and that mind, Alaya Vijnana, is an absolute or real in the way that we take it to be in the mind-only school. You know, consciousness itself is always changing due to causes and conditions. In itself is a dependent arising. So it can't truly exist, inherently exist, as the Eightfold Consciousness does, Alaya Vijnana, in the mind-only school, right? What they consider to be sort of inherently existing. The ultimate nature of relative dreams is emptiness, because they're just mere concepts. You know, even emptiness itself is a concept, okay? So the Savtantrika is, you know, when we're on this level, we're using logic and reasoning arguments to show this. But the takeaway is that the mind of our dreams and our waking isn't true or absolute. Okay. So we are sort of taking a little bit deeper that things are just labeled by the mind. You know, on an ultimate level they don't exist, but on sort of a, you know, relative level they do exist, and they're products of our conceptual judgments, our words, our grammar, and so forth, right? But ultimately, they're not truly existing. So the question we always ask, the big sort of Vedic question, we're in a dream, who is the dreamer, right? So Savtantrika school says, don't pull the sort of Chitta Mantra mind-only school way of thinking that the dreamer or this or absolute mind, Alaya Vijnana, truly exists. You know, that there is a dreamer, whether it be God or a higher self or a capital D dreamer. These things are all just, you know, convenient fiction, so to speak, labeled by the mind. don't take your dreams as being too real. Don't take real life as being real. These are all just the way we think and talk about things with words and concepts. You know, a lot of ways, just see dreams as being a product of the mind, and that this mind itself isn't to be taken, as some absolute position.